You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
Hey ho, Wednesday.
Welcome. Where's all this coming from? You know why we have so much energy?
We're punchy.
Because it's Wednesday,
Yes!
and it's back to Wednesdays. We got a little too messy with our schedules,
We
haven't
did. We really did. What happened last week?
I
Last week,
forget.
though,
I forget.
everything fell apart.
Everything fell apart. But we're back to our regular Wednesdays.
We're back to our regular.
And we're trying something new called Small Batch 1792.
Ooh, a good year.
Ciao, signore.
Yeah, ciao.
All right.
Let's see. The verdict is. Oh man.
Whoa, what was that? It's like it's got some plastic after sensing. Hold on.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm not sure. You thought it sweet? I was
thought it
trying
was
to get this burnt plastic aftertaste
yeah,
out of my
that's-
mouth.
It is kind of odd, but it's smooth.
Yeah, it is
Oddly
smooth.
enough, it doesn't burn going down.
I can get used to that burnt plastic, aftertaste. I think I'm okay. Wow. I'm not sure if Moss will be drinking too much of this one tonight.
I didn't pick up on those notes.
No way. How would you describe it? Like ass? Not that I know.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we wine or whiskey critics. We could be. Maybe we could be.
Oh my
whiskey
god, dude, we've tried and sampled so much of this stuff. Not just
so
just between Angry Designer, but like 2-3 years ago,
my
before
God.
COVID,
Yeah.
at Z Factor, we started Whiskey Fridays.
Whiskey Fridays.
Right? And
Yeah.
we would sample Canadian whiskeys under $50. This is when we started. This goes back 3 years, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Wow, right? And
It's a long
literally
time.
every week we would sample a new bottle.
Yeah.
Not just Sean and I, but a bigger team, of course.
Yeah, everybody would.
Everybody
They had to watch us get drunk.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, and then
Yeah.
That's,
It started with that awesome Indian whiskey. Remember
a
that?
customer of ours.
Yeah, customer
to say
bought it for
thank
us.
you. A customer who he was Indian, but he was out of Silicon Valley,
Right.
And he wanted us to try this Indian whiskey. That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, that's the very first time that we. I
That's
think we did
right. That was the first one, and we were like, okay,
Yeah.
we should make this a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Remember? I wonder what that would taste like now if we had
I
it.
would be curious because I remember the first sip was hideous.
Well, we always said it
But
tasted
the third
like soap.
sip, yeah. But by
You're
the
right.
third sip, it got better. Like it was kind of it was a weird.
And oddly enough, now it seems like we're actually, our palates have grown.
Yeah.
We can actually tell the difference between
Yes.
certain whiskeys, certain aftertastes, certain notes.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we could. I for one can't taste the plastic in this, but
Maybe I just picked up a dirty glass. See, it smells really nice though.
it does. We commented it smells like aftershave.
When you first that's only when you first open it, Sean. So what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hola, what's up with you?
No, not much. Welcome everybody to the Angry Designer on a Wednesday.
Yes.
But by all means, I just want to remind everybody, please, leave us a review, say hi to us on our Instagram, leave us a review on Apple, on Spotify. This is how we're able to grow because honestly, we are here to help graphic designers survive and thrive. We're here to call the no bull on our industry and actually make light of a lot of things that, I think people are too scared to talk about.
I think you're right. I think that's absolutely true. People should be aware of these kind of things, and we will champion you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We are the
We're not
champions.
going to pussyfoot around these topics. We're actually going to hit them. We're going to walk right up to the topic and just in the nuts. That's it.
That's right. A good solid boot to the berries.
Right. We're going to make sure that you feel the pain. You're going to feel the sting. You're going to feel the bee sting of our like Amber Heard. It'll be. And then I listened to their podcasts and I got stung by a bee. Oh boy, she really felt the sting of Johnny, didn't she?
Oh my God, did she ever? Well, yeah, so I guess she had to sell some of Elon's like a gift that he gave her.
Crazy that hookup happened somewhere
Isn't
along
that
there.
bizarre? Like the two of them together.
Like that dude is just to be the richest, most eccentric guy in the world. Well, he's the richest guy in the world.
Yeah,
he's also crazy eccentric.
And he's crazy nuts. Yeah,
like he's crazy nuts.
She's crazy nuts too. So maybe they work together.
I'm surprised they're still not together. I'm surprised they haven't given themselves to each other forever.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, she had to sell this gift to pay Johnny Depp
for the
lawyer
fees. But I mean, again, pocket change for someone that
Elon's got it. He's
like,
good
no
for
worry,
it.
I've got another. Speaking of him though,
Yes.
like wow, disappeared kind of for a little while. He's gone silent.
Yeah, totally.
He was like,
Smart
guns
move.
a-blazing, gonna buy Twitter.
Yeah. What the hell?
Can you imagine?
Did he finalize that, or did they?
He
give him
kind of
the
like,
boot with that?
he kind of came out, woke up one morning, was like, I'm going to buy Twitter. And then all of a sudden, it's like he makes this big move and everybody's like in uproar. And then what happened? And then he starts saying, no, it's all bots. It's all bots. But he knew it was all bots. So again, was this all like a big marketing ploy or whatever?
You think maybe?
Well, I don't know, because now it's like they're holding him to it, and it's like all these stall tactics. I mean, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he could buy it.
Yeah, he probably could.
Could he turn it to be profitable? I don't know. But the funny thing is, I think all of his like crazy, extravagant bullshit has caught up to him.
Yes.
Because again, now, okay, all stocks are dying, but Tesla's stock is dying.
Is it?
Right?
Uh-oh.
Huge. And the problem is because, I mean, it's one thing to be the richest guy in the world because, your stock is at like, super crazy valuation, but it's like less than half, I think, of what it was at the beginning of the year.
That's not good.
And then, I don't think people have as much faith in him because he's doing all this crazy shit. Like, right? Like he's going out and fucking
trying to buy Twitter.
Trying to buy Twitter and making all these claims. And then he was kind of like the whole Dogecoin or the crypto claims, right? Like he's just kind of crazy. And the funny thing is, all of a sudden, I read this article saying that when Elon does this shit, it's to pull attention away from Tesla. Okay, which is kind of interesting because again, Tesla, had a huge money-making deal opportunity in China, but that's fallen through.
Really?
And it doesn't seem like that's happening anymore. And although, like the China sales were huge for Tesla at the time, it seems like that's like pulled back so much that it's affecting them, right? And I don't think that they have enough, they don't have critical mass yet, for sure, right? Like it's still an early adopter type of product. Right. And again, I've said this before, and I still stick to my guns. I don't think Tesla will be around in a few years.
Yes.
Because there's so many similarities to what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like, no question, those are the most advanced cars in the fucking world.
Totally. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And crazy fast. Like that Plaid, okay? Like they had that thing drag racing, like Bugattis, like the fastest car. And
Really?
it's so disheartening how it has no chance. Like the Tesla just kills it time and time.
What?
Well, why don't I give it a head start? Why don't we give it a 10-car head start? Why don't we do a rolling start? Like no matter what, the other car could not catch up to the Tesla. Like it's a joke.
Holy shit! Really?
But then you don't hear about all the other shit, right? You don't hear about the accidents.
Yes.
You don't hear. There's so many accidents. The autopilot feature gets all weird. I wouldn't trust that.
I know, right? Some dude was decapitated or something like that.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
And they just cover that shit up over and over, right? A lot. And
Yeah.
then there's this whole fact that it's like, the quality issues on these cars, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, no question, top of the game, that's great, tech-wise, but everything else is slipping and they have neglected to fix everything else.
Yes.
Okay.
And here we go.
Yeah.
This is what we're, the meat of what we're into.
Well, I mean, think
customer
about it.
service, right?
Seriously, like their customer service part dropped altogether, right?
Yeah.
And it's impossible to talk to. It's like they treat a car company like a fucking, web app. Okay, I get it. If a web app that I'm only paying $9.99 a month doesn't have a live person for me to pick up the phone and call.
No big deal.
Okay, I get that because it is only, but this is like $100,000
expensive
car.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to have to submit a form and wait for something to get back to me. And then you get my nice email autoresponder saying, hey, just so you know, we care. We've received your email and it's in queue. We'll get back to you soon. Thanks. Wait, was that my Spotify account, or was that about my
that the $200,000 car that I bought? Yeah.
Seriously, like their customer service sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And this is all over the place.
Yeah.
Their partner relationships, like where they're helping with their aftermarket parts and stuff like that,
that's-
like
that's
non-existent.
atrocious. Yeah.
Like if your car breaks, or you have a good luck getting a replacement part.
Yeah.
People are waiting for months, and they can't drive their car.
Yeah, because
it doesn't
the
exist.
fender is busted or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's like, so they're not fulfilling those, they're not keeping those relationships. So they're losing loyalty there. And in all fairness, when you start having this, they haven't expanded in the right thing, and they haven't taken the shitty feedback, like the critical feedback,
Right.
important enough. What's what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, they don't
didn't take it seriously.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And it's just like, dude, like you're hearing this. People, oh no, it's just the odd 1, 2, or 1,000.
But a lot of these guys, I think a lot of that kind of thing is they rely on that customer loyalty, you know, or the brand, how everybody's in love with
Maybe.
the
But
cars.
here's the thing, it's not everybody, okay? Like I said, it's still the early adopters, right? The early adopters will put up with a ton of shit.
Oh, they will.
100%.
Even when it comes to like money like this.
Well, because again,
Spent.
let's face it, like most of these early adopters, you know, they have the money to spend on shit like this, right?
Right.
Because they value things a little differently than other people, right?
Yeah.
It's when it hits critical mass that everybody starts to, and that's going to be the fall, right? Because right now the competition is coming for electric vehicles, right? Like Hyundai's, released one, Kia's released one, and they've got more coming. I just saw one this morning from Hyundai that they're releasing, I think next year, the Ioniq 6 now.
Oh.
And it's beautiful looking.
Oh, really?
This thing is actually, it's gorgeous, and it doesn't have that weird kind of Tesla-y look like a lot of electric cars do. And then they've got their weird Ioniq, Hyundai does.
Yes.
So Hyundai is creating these, they're saying that they're actually going to have 20 plus models by 2025 of just electric vehicles. So, and
That's
here's
like
the
2
thing.
years from now.
Yes.
3
And I
years.
mean, again, Hyundai's got the infrastructure
Yeah.
to go and put these everywhere and have people get them repaired. Their customer service is going to be better, right? The quality, they have a different kind of quality control. So it's like you don't see, somebody can argue maybe that the quality of the finishes might not be the same or whatever. But in all fairness, I mean, Hyundai owns Genesis. Genesis is a very high-end, good quality product.
True.
Right? So their quality is going to be there.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that's kind of be the electric car for the mass market.
Right.
Better price point.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better reliability. Well, reliability, but accessibility.
Serviceability.
It's because people are looking for something different at that stage. Right.
It's the idea is in place, and Tesla has got that.
Good for
That's
them.
very
They-
cool.
they were first to
just-
market.
Yeah, they just can't. They don't back it up properly.
Exactly.
Some other company who's done this already knows how to do this.
Absolutely. And I
we
mean,
go.
like, look, even Ford. Okay. So Tesla, they announced their Cybertruck. Pretty kick-ass. I put in for one because I was like, let's see where this is going to go. I'm curious, right? Because can you imagine, like, if that thing actually, but I didn't ever think it was going to happen.
Oh.
That's the funny thing. And then they launched that thing. I put my money in, blah, 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 right? In that time, Ford decided they were getting into the game. Ford basically recreated the F-150, which is like the #1 selling pickup truck of all time.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And they came up with it, they engineered it, and now they've released it. And Tesla still has no idea when the Cybertruck is coming out. And now Ford, one of the biggest, one of the big three in North America, right? Or the big two, whatever, they're already selling them.
Yes.
Right. And I think there's like a 2-3 year wait list for one. People can't get
So people are interested in this kind
Well,
of.
absolutely. And now here's another one. So another competitor against Tesla. So Tesla had a hell of a head start.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Now, but until
Like
they
against the Bugatti.
Right. Ooh, that was pretty nasty, dude. Whew. But the thing is, they had such a head start, but they didn't take the rest of the shit. They didn't take the warning signs seriously. They started, and again, who did we ever see that? There's another company that was like this locally, right? Thought that they were untouchable.
This is exactly
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody realizes or not, but we are located in a city called Waterloo. Yeah. Waterloo is just about almost an hour outside of Toronto, and we're known as like one of Canada's tech hotspots.
Yeah.
We've got companies like Google here, and we've got like Square, and we've got like Desire to Learn, and
OpenText.
Shopify, OpenText. Like we got so many billion-dollar companies located right here, and one of the very, very, very first companies to start this was Blackberry.
Blackberry.
All right. So if anybody remembers, literally the first smartphone, more or less.
Yeah.
Right. Before that, it was the pager. Remember that? The drug dealer pager. I loved it. You'd be standing around, somebody's little pager would buzz, and they'd look at the number, and they're like, "Excuse me, I got to make a call." And they go to a payphone, and they put money, and they call. Remember that? What a weird concept to think about now, but it was so mysterious. It's like, hey, did you see that?
Yeah, look at that.
Sean just got a page. Who do you think he's calling? Who do you think he's calling? You know he's calling. Hey, Mom. I told you I'd be home by 9.
Yeah,
Why are you
sorry.
calling me? Yeah. But, I mean, okay, so they were pretty much one of the first to create the smartphone.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And again, same type of pattern as Tesla had.
Yeah.
100%, right? They were at the top of their game, right? Nothing could stop them. They were on top of the world, right?
Yes,
If you
yes.
got a job there, you were cocky as fuck. You thought, yeah, whatever, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, whatever. They started getting too big for their own britches, right? They started neglecting their customer service. I remember I had a Blackberry.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to support local. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Even though the iPhone was just, like
brand new.
Right? It was brand new. And I was
yeah.
like, no, local support. I'm going to support local first, right? And again, they pissed all over me because I bought a piece of shit phone. Then I finally had to fight for 3 months, got it replaced. Second one was still a piece of shit phone. Fought for 3 months to get it replaced. Third was a piece of crap. Like 3 phones in a row were all crap. And the thing is, it was impossible. So nobody at Blackberry cared.
Yeah.
I'd call their support. Oh yeah, you have to deal with the vendor. You have to deal with the vendor. I would then go back to Best Buy or Future Shop at the time.
Yeah.
Oh no, you have to go to Blackberry for this. So I'm a customer and I just want the
Yeah.
fucking phone.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get the phone. Oh no, call your provider. So then I'd be on the phone with TELUS, and so it was hard. Like so, nobody cared. So customer service out the window, right?
Terrible.
Number 2, the partner relationships. They didn't support the Future Shops. They didn't support the Best Buys, the TELUSes of the world. They weren't. So these people then would buy all these hundreds and thousands of phones and wouldn't even get the support from the manufacturer because manufacturers like, oh, I'm too big, I'm too popular. Where everybody wants us right now, so you deal with it, right? So again, they didn't. The partner relationships was the window. Their technology sucked.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, the quality.
Yes.
Okay, because they
yes.
were still very, very new.
Yeah.
So we can't say the tech sucked. The tech was really, really maybe too advanced for its time.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the quality to support what they were trying to do. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, they couldn't support that. They couldn't back that. And then again, just like in my situation, I had to fend for myself on that one.
You were on your own.
And I couldn't, right? What else? Unorganized.
Yes.
Right? We ended up having Blackberry as a customer. We had a few accounts internally. It was a great customer for the time, but then it was just like chaos in there. People were being hired to do shit that, other people couldn't even get to. We had 2 completely different teams approach us for the exact same job. They were so unorganized. It was like, dudes, like, do you know, I'll take your money, but do you know that this team just asked for the exact same thing? Like, it was unbelievable, right?
Should have done them both and then A/B tested it.
I know.
So build them for.
Why did I have to be so damn honest? But, with that being said, they weren't keeping an eye on budgets. So again, another huge
Obviously,
point, right? They weren't keeping an eye on budgets.
Right.
So they were bleeding money
going out the
everywhere.
door.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to mention the spending that would go on. They all had like these huge expensive Aeron chairs and this and that. It was just like, dude, like, are you serious? You guys really need to go there? And then again, all the negative feedback, they ignored.
Yep.
They were just like, no, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's an ID10T error, obviously. You don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Customer. So honestly, even though that company started out amazing with the right intention, they literally lost their way. They lost their vision.
Yeah.
Right. And ultimately, although what spun out of that turned into this beautiful town of ours. The fall of that company has led to so many new cool tech companies that came out of this town.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it was good.
Yeah.
But that was a bad roller coaster ride for that company.
Big time, yeah. And from what I remember back in the old days, because my wife works at a hub, and the talent that came out of those out of Blackberry that was just wasted.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like some of these people were like super smart. And knew
absolutely
exactly.
they were.
Then they go to a different company and then they can shine, kind of thing. Whereas at Blackberry, they were just like a bee, you know what I mean?
Oh
like,
my God, it really was. Like, he was like, oh, my dog stepped on the bee. I know.
That's the one.
Amber Heard did it.
Amber Heard. But yeah, it was just like they were underutilized. So even your staff is
100%.
You're wasting them. You know what I mean? So
Dude, they completely lost sight. They forgot what they wanted to do. Yeah. And again, they were so fascinated about the technology, they forgot that people don't really give a shit about the technology. They only care about what the technology did for them.
Yeah.
And that's where Apple picked up the slack. They were just like, thank you. I'll take all of your customers.
Right.
Not just what they were like, oh no, Apple's got he can't touch us. Apple, what are they going to do? They're a computer company. What?
Yeah.
Holy, were they wrong about that?
They've got,
I know, right? Nobody's going to want a flat screen.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. So honestly, it's like when things are good, you tend to focus on only what's working. And you kind of like brush aside what isn't. And I think that was the big mistake there. Yes. And I think this is, this is equal career killers for graphic designers. Whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a small design studio, big studio, or geez, you know what? Even an employee within a studio trying to make your way up.
True.
When things are going good, you focus on the good and you forget everything else.
Yeah.
And that's what fucks you up. And that's what fucked up Blackberry.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be fucking up. I guarantee it's going to fuck up Tesla.
Yeah.
I guarantee. I will be shocked.
Yeah.
You know, if they make it, it's the exact same reason.
3 years is pretty generous, I would say. But
Well,
the way shit's going
again,
down.
the smartest guy in the world. We can say he's one of the smartest, definitely one of the richest.
One of the richest,
So,
yeah.
and he's pretty smart. So hopefully he can figure a way around this. But I don't know if he can actually fix it's there's so many broken parts to this.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like you said. The analogy with the car companies is perfect, or with Apple with BlackBerry. It's like it's almost better to be in second place.
Yeah,
At the
I
beginning,
agree. I agree.
Because then you can say, hey, these guys are fucking this up big time.
Yep.
What if we
pick up the slack?
pick up the slack, pick
pick up the piece, learn from their mistakes.
Hyundai says, hey, shit, we can build electric cars.
Yeah. Well, what Hyundai did is they sat back and they let Tesla prime the market.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
Elon Musk is going to go down history and be like, well, that was my intent from the start.
Yeah, yeah.
I just wanted the world to accept it. And, you know, I'm the savior of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like, okay, but you could have
could've
followed
done
up
way
that.
better.
Yeah, you could have followed up with that really cool car.
Totally.
And done a little bit more with that. But like, let's compare this to, you know, a graphic designer.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Or even as a freelancer, a business, the exact same things that we were just talking about, right?
These
So number
principles
one,
apply.
you know, a career killer for a graphic designer or a studio or whatever, a career killer is if you neglect customer service.
You're right.
Right? Absolutely. So number one, right? A career, I don't even know a career killer, an ender, whatever you want to say it, right?
Just bad practice.
Well,
Isn't it?
I guess, right? If you start neglecting your customer service, your customer, first sign of just boom. And then it's like, oh no, well, I still pick up the phone when they call and whatever, but we're not talking about that. Like, we're talking about shit like, you know, not being available when a customer, and again, they'll put up with it once, twice, maybe a third time, but after a while, they're going to be like, dude, enough's enough. I'm going to bounce, right?
Yes, exactly.
Not listening
Yes.
to customers.
Yeah.
Right. So this is under the whole neglect the customer side, right? You don't listen to them anymore. You start losing sight of their space, their customers, right? Because hey, you've got everything going, you're comfortable, right? And so as soon as you stop paying attention to their space, you're going to lose sight of their business, their customers, and ultimately, you know, what are you designing in the end? You could be like, oh, no, I'm a great designer. My skills are so good. They're going to love it. But if you start losing sight of their space, right? Toast, right?
Yeah, you could be the best designer in the world, but if you don't get what they're looking for, or you don't have
you
what
start
they
losing
need,
sight in that,
then,
right?
then they're not going to be coming back to you.
Absolutely. Or even like missing delivery dates.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? Again, customer service, right? If that starts slipping and you start, you know, missing delivery dates, again, customers come to you because you can deliver.
Exactly.
Especially that they, you know, if they count on you to deliver. So again, if you all of a sudden, you know, oh, I'm too busy, I got all these other customers, I'm just going to start neglecting these customers.
I tried it once. I pushed it back a week, a deadline back a week. I could do it again.
Right.
And then before you know it, exactly. That's never a good. Like, how many times have we done that without an excuse?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
we would always say,
thank God,
look,
I wasn't sure where you were going with that one. I was just like, wait, we've done that? Is this happening right now?
Shit, there's something I'm supposed to
Am I
send out.
neglecting?
No, seriously.
It is
Like,
true.
if we cannot make a deadline,
You got to let them know.
you have to let them know.
And that's
at
the customer
very
service
least.
part.
Yeah, that's the customer service part.
Yep.
Exactly, because they're going to be sitting there waiting
Yep.
for their project to come in and
Done.
nothing.
Yep.
And radio silence from you.
Yeah, right.
That's not good. That's not going to...
So career ender, of course, if you neglect your customer service, right? Number two, career ender, you know, end game type thing, right? You start neglecting partner relationships or vendor relationships.
Right.
So I can't tell you how many times over the past 25 years I have relied on vendors to pull me through shit.
Yeah.
Right? It hasn't, I always haven't had a big, you know, balloon of padding in our bank account to be able to do things. Many times I've needed to reach out for extra credit. Many times I needed a favor. I needed extra hours. You start neglecting those relationships, right? You start, getting a little bit, taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
Look at us. We're so big now. Everybody wants our business. So I need more service from you,
Exactly.
awesome print
what
partner.
else are you going to do? Yeah.
And this shit happens, dude. And I can honestly say at the beginning, even I think maybe I may have done that to one or two, right? Been like, dudes, I need more from you, And in the end, it was more of an ego thing than anything. And this happened early on, and I learned my lesson.
Fair enough.
But at the same time, when I started, I relied on vendors to help me start.
Right.
When we started this business, I, had left another agency. I had clients but I had no money.
Yeah.
And I needed somebody to front me some credit, right? Just based on nothing more than, hey, I've got a job. You got to help me out on this.
Yeah. You'll get paid when I get paid.
But you know what? All the printers that I worked with the other agency, they were like, no, we're going to need 50% up front. And I'm like, dude, like my first job, it's there. This is the same customer. I will get you your money. No, we need 50%. I know you will. You'll do great. And you know what? I was like, fine, fuck you. Yeah. I did find an agent, a print company was like, you know what? No worries. I'll front it. I'm sure you can do it. Like let's just start, right? Yeah. And we grew like crazy.
Yeah.
I never went back. After 25 years, I never, ever went back. They kept calling on my doors.
Oh, did they really?
And I was happy to fucking tell them the same story over and over. When I started, and I needed you guys.
You weren't there.
So no, and that's it. And honestly, it was millions and millions of dollars between now and when we started that they lost out on us forever. 100%, right?
Wow.
So whatever. So I couldn't rely on them. They kind of screwed me over. But as certain people get busier and busier, it's like you'll push your vendors around. You start becoming a big shot, right? Yeah. And again, you'll neglect to even pay them.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, I'll let it go 60 days, let it go 90 days, right? And you kind of become a dick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a huge thing, right? Oh, especially the bullying, though. Like you bully your vendors. That happens a lot.
It does. But it's trickle down, right?
Yeah, it is a trickle
generally,
down.
like if we're getting pull-up signs or something like that, it's always last minute. And I always feel bad for the poor vendors, but
well, again, sometimes we don't give them enough time.
That's exactly
if it becomes a regular thing, it's pretty, and I know for a fact that when we do push it, like in situations like this, we always give them a head start. We're like, hey, listen, just to give you a heads up, we do need this for next Friday, but we won't be able to get you anything final until Wednesday.
Yes, exactly.
Can you book us that time?
Yes.
And be prepared that you get it. And then it's like, we'll make it work with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like we don't go in there and be like, no, if you want my business, I'm going to give it to you whenever I give it to you and you got to turn it around. No, you can't pull that shit.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And that's the thing too. It's like, I feel bad sometimes for doing this, but fuck, they bend. They never break.
Yep.
They get it done. Yep. And for that, I'm loyal to that company.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
exactly. Loyalty
that's the
runs
first place
long.
I'll go. Yeah.
And that's why you get a good vendor in place.
Yes.
I'm loyal as hell to them.
Yes.
I won't leave our print company now for anything.
Yes.
They've pulled us through. We've got a great relationship of like 15 years now. I'm not going, I don't even quote shit out anywhere else.
Exactly.
I'm just like, no, I'm happy with this. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So where I know a lot of those other companies like the Blackberries and the Teslas, they push around their vendors.
Exactly.
They push,
Yeah, somebody can undercut. Somebody comes in and undercuts you.
Yes.
You're like, okay, it's tempting.
Right.
I could save 15% here. And you never know what you're going to get with that kind of thing.
You got to make sure.
And then you fucked over the other guys. Yeah,
that's so true. So number 2 is you do not take advantage or screw around your relationships with vendors, right? Yes. Number 3, it's career ender, of course, when it's just starting to spiral, is when the quality drops. Right. And this is something that's really, really easy to do if you're not paying attention, right? You get so busy, you get so cocky, or even just caught up in your own shit that you're not, double checking. People rely on us for quality and consistency.
Exactly.
Right? Consistency. Yeah. If you can't, consistently pay attention to these kind of details, these messages, and you're constantly fumbling, whether it's because you're extra busy right now, or whether you have bigger customers with bigger paying budgets, right? You're not paying the same kind of attention to this kind of stuff. Your quality is going to drop.
Yeah.
I think it's probably better to flat out just refuse to do projects then give them half-ass shit.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You run the risk of somebody else coming in and eating your lunch, a la Apple to Blackberry, right? But also, with that too, the quality of your work doesn't slip because you're not jammed up with all kinds of other stuff. So,
absolutely.
It's kind of a balancing situation there with that. But I mean, I'd rather risk that than
having
put
to
out
like
crappy work. You know what I mean?
dude, because we can't, right? Especially because we're more than anything else, designers like us, we're, that's our reputation.
Exactly.
That's what we're known
Yes.
for. And if all of a sudden you start getting sloppy, right? That spreads quick.
Yeah.
And then you'll lose that customer. They'll jump to another job. They'll say this, oh yeah, they're a good agency, but man, they're just really sloppy, right?
Sometimes it's really hit and miss, you know?
And I'm guilty of that because sometimes I get so damn busy.
Yeah, well,
I'm careless.
Happens. Yeah.
But again, it's like we constantly have to stop, check,
Yes.
and make sure that your quality is still where it is, because it's really, really, really quick to let that slip. And man, that's just another sign that you're spiraling down, right?
Exactly.
Number 4, right? Technology, or not staying current with technology, or in our case, also with marketing. Okay, so as designers, whether we're agency, freelance, whatever, if we're not up to speed with technology that's out there for our websites, or for like what new trends there are in marketing, what new platforms there are, we're just quickly like letting ourselves get left behind while this race keeps moving forward.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, when it comes to some of these other companies, that Apple technology was going much faster than Blackberry technology. They weren't keeping up. They're trying to work on their own innovations, which none of them actually worked. Right. Like seriously, you have to stay current with what's the latest software, right? Okay, you were using XD, but now everybody seems to be switching to Figma, right? You were on Quark Express when the whole world jumped to InDesign, right? Like this shit actually happens.
Yeah.
And if you're not staying current with the technology or, the marketing trends that are coming out there, you will be left behind.
You'll be left behind.
Quickly,
Somebody's going to say, do you work in Figma? And you're going to be like, no.
Yeah.
And then,
right.
You're
Talk
gone.
your way out of that one.
Yeah, exactly. Talk your way.
No, like it doesn't happen. Honestly, you have to continuously keep adapting to technology and keep, adapting to new marketing techniques, new methods, what's hot, what's not. Email newsletters, right? They were hot for a little while, then they disappeared.
Yes.
Now they're coming back
Now
again,
they're
right?
back. I know.
Inbound marketing, right? It was a big thing to have like 50, 60 different landing pages and drive traffic to them all, right? Now it's like, no, let's have a better message to less page or a single page. Like, I mean, you just have to keep up with this, right?
Exactly.
You can't just be like, design thin and just like create pretty pictures. You need to have substance behind what we're recommending, what we're thinking, the future, and what it's going to look like.
Yes.
Almost need to have an opinion on that shit too.
Totally.
But
Yeah, exactly. Unless, of course, that's your jam and you want to be a production person.
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, production people still have to be
They still have to
with technology.
That's true.
Big
Yeah, you're
time,
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because again, things can change. Look at
This is
how
true.
the production side changed, right?
Yeah.
It went from everything was a 4-color, 6-color, 8-color press.
Yeah.
Then came digital presses.
Yeah.
And at first, digital presses were so damn expensive, right? Everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's cheaper for me to get 1,000 flyers done for on press than 100 of them on the digital press."
Yeah.
But there came a tipping point
Where
and where it was like, yeah, but you know what? What are you going to do with 1,000 flyers? Because they're always outdated. And, granted, it might be cheaper price per unit. You're always throwing out 500 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So now all of a sudden your cost per unit is much higher.
Yeah.
Where with the digital press, you can print out 100 at a time.
Yeah,
They're always up to date.
Yeah.
You can change them on the fly. You need to be able to keep
peasy.
up to that.
Yeah.
So even production has to keep up to
Yeah,
that
that's
shit,
true.
right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Touche.
Touche.
I just guessed. I don't know. I pulled that one out of my ass.
No, that's great because I was sitting there thinking of the person who's, I don't know, cropping photos and doing things like that for but
Let's talk about that person who's crossing photos, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, the production artist
The
is gonna
production,
be
yeah.
in trouble with technology.
This
That's
is the thing,
for
and
sure.
we addressed that with the
AI, with the
the
DALL-E
AI,
2
the
idea,
DALL-E,
right? Yeah. So number 4, right? You don't keep up with your tech. You don't keep up with the marketing, right? So that's a big sign of starting to crash and burn.
Yeah.
Number 5, when companies start becoming unorganized, right? Like, and again, just like our experiences with Blackberry, we were getting orders from the same job from different departments, different people. Nobody could keep track of anything, right? Imagine how that looks like on our end as a designer. It's like, oh shit, you asked me for what revision again? Where was that? I put it on a sticky note. Where did it go? I wrote it down on this envelope, right?
I was going to get to it,
Yeah, we're all guilty of this shit.
totally.
But okay, ultimately, number 1, you never let the customer know that, of course.
This is true.
But it's true. Like the more unorganized a company comes, then you're juggling too many, and you can only juggle so many balls, right? World record is what, like 16 different balls to juggle with.
Is it really?
It's pretty crazy. It's a high number. Wow. But but the reality is it's just like, you can only do so much. You have to continually stay organized. You have to continually be able to account manage, project manage, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as that stuff starts, like slipping, then you're pushing deadlines out.
Everything,
You're procrastinating.
Yep.
You're working late again to try to catch up to shit that you should have gotten done.
Yes.
You thought you relied on somebody and that was a mess, right? And then all of a sudden you're stuck to it. So again, the more unorganized you become, the quicker you are to fall, man.
Yeah, exactly. Which exactly like Blackberry, what we talked about. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's crazy shit, man. Like two companies, and what did they have? They had like 30 buildings here.
Oh
right?
my God, yeah.
It's no wonder
they were in the real estate game for a little while.
They really
Holy
were.
cow!
It's no wonder that they didn't realize that different segments of the organization was putting out a job, and then
So true.
hey, we're gonna do the exact same.
So true, right? Of course.
Oh Lord, yeah. Organization is huge. That's absolutely.
I am going to organize myself another glass of this whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? It came around. The plastic
it
taste is
did.
gone. There's no more plastic.
I'll have a little nibble there too.
See? Oh, see? So
I
it's
don't
not so
mind
bad,
this.
right?
This is-
It's not
this
too
is
bad. It isn't.
actually
It
pretty
isn't. 1792. So 1792, yeah, was that like I guess the French Revolution?
I believe so.
right.
You are correct.
You are
Shout out
correct.
to how do we do in France? I wonder.
I don't know. We kind of have like a little French side to Canada, right?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah,
Yes.
we love the Quebecois. here.
Quebecois. You just, in order to speak French, you just have to rearrange words like in opposite order.
Yeah, order. That's right. And you talk like this. This is a.
This is a French. To say
Franglish.
French.
I think.
Franglish. You speak French? Sure, I speak French.
Oui.
Sorry to all of our French.
Yes, we love
Quebec
you guys.
friends. We love
Yes,
you.
we love Quebec.
J'adore.
J'adore.
All right. So we know you're falling if you become unorganized, right? Okay. Next, as a designer, design freelancer, whatever, you know that the end is near. If you start losing sight of budgets, like you start becoming frivolous with your spending, you start overspending in certain areas and not, keeping an eye on your bottom line and your costs. When you go through a good growth period and you start charging more for jobs and you're not charging by the hour anymore, you're charging per project, right? All of a sudden you're seeing more and more and more money come in, which is cool in one way. But if you're not keeping track of those budgets, you're not continuously, almost operating like you were when you started.
Yeah.
Right? You don't end up saving shit.
Right.
Right? We talked
Yeah.
about that the one agency that had like $250,000 in billings and it was like 40 grand in the hole.
Yeah.
Because they were just spending
Just
and spending
spending
on
money like crazy.
everything,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So honestly, you have to always keep an eye on your budgets. Make sure you're not splurging on things too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, but don't go too crazy on this shit. Make sure there's a payback on it,
Yes.
right? And always you got to keep an eye on that bottom line.
Yeah.
So again, these companies, a lot of these car companies were operating, on like a net, or they were negative profit. They weren't even making profits on their cars, right?
really?
So they're like, oh, we'll make it long term. They
Yeah.
never did.
They never did.
So this is where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that doesn't seem smart. But you've always been pretty frugal. When you started,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
pretty shoestring budget, but you kind of kept to that. You never really got.
I kind of just, okay, and again, we could be using air on chairs here. We could be doing this. We could be that. But,
Yes.
the fact that, we still, kept things good quality,
Right.
but we kept our computers a little longer.
Right.
Instead of replacing our computers every 2 years, we would, replace them every 5.
Yes.
Because why the hell did we
Why?
need
Yeah.
the gains were minimal from
Yeah.
year after year, or
Yeah.
even 2 years after 2 years, right?
Yeah, still a good computer.
The place still looks fantastic, so
Place
there's no
looks
reason
awesome,
to
yeah.
constantly be doing crazy shit. When it comes to event, maybe we have fun more, parties wise, or when we do Fan Expo, we'll go a little bigger, like the corporate outings and stuff. But I always tried to kind of like operate in the same mentality that it's
Right.
like it's not always going to be like this. So
Exactly.
like I have a goal now that I want to make sure our bank account gets to, and then from that point on, I think maybe then it'll be a lot more relaxing.
Okay.
And then it'll be like, okay, now the pressure's off. We can survive a year without a paycheck.
Yeah.
Or without a single customer billing.
Yes.
Good, let's do it. So
Yeah.
that's the goal. But
Yeah, that's good.
that's a little crazy though. Not too many people are like that.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's like you're saving for a rainy day.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
Whereas
'Cause-
most people, or some people, that's not even like that agency you were talking about. This, what the hell are they
constantly.
spending their money on?
Right,
It's like-
right. Like again, it's cool to have a super posh, crazy set. But
Yeah,
again, if you're
yeah.
spending, 10 grand a month on a location,
Yes.
that really doesn't matter
No,
because you don't
that's-
have walk-in traffic.
Yes.
Why the hell does it matter?
Yeah, it's just, we can. What we're in here is awesome. It looks great,
Right.
And but you don't need
We don't get walk-ins here.
Exactly.
The usual comment when people walk into our front door is like, wow,
awesome.
I didn't expect it to look like this, because the outside it looks like a dive.
Yeah, it does. It totally does.
But who cares? This is just for
industrial
us.
complex. Yeah,
Right. It's an industrial complex in the middle of more industrial places, and it's a big industrial unit that's been retrofitted and looks fantastic. And,
when you did the foyer out there yourself, like, and that
pretty
looks really
fancy,
nice.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't
keep-
have to pay a fucking crazy contractor to do that shit. you know?
No. Well, maybe some people know. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I was lucky enough to be able to do that one. But it's true. Keep an eye on budgets, because if you don't, that's a huge, telltale sign that you're on your way down, right?
Yeah.
A big one here is ignoring negative feedback, right? So again, Blackberry ignored negative feedback.
Exactly.
We tried and tried and tried, this, that. They're like, oh, no, you're just a 1 in a million. Tesla's going through this shit right now. People are saying, dude, my seats are coming apart. My steering wheel actually fell off. I can't close my door anymore. Oh, you just don't know what you're doing. Shame on you. Click. But you didn't even solve my problem. Right? Like, seriously, you have to pay attention to the feedback, even if it's just one piece of feedback.
Yes.
One customer, random, right? Okay, investigate it quickly. Take a look at it. See if they're right or wrong. If they're wrong, then fine. Excuse it. But don't be blind about the whole thing, right?
Exactly.
Because again, 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to 4, and dude, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you've got a ton of people with the same issues, just same type of concerns, complaints, and now it's so big you can't even fix that damn thing, right?
Or if you want to keep in the car analogy section. The Pinto, you remember the Pinto, the Ford Pinto?
Yeah,
the design,
I do actually.
The design of that put the gas tank in the back of the car, right?
Yep.
Which, after a couple of rear endings
Yeah.
and explosions.
They
decided, hey, you know what? Maybe
it wasn't a good idea.
This is not
right?
a good place for a gas tank.
I think they put it up higher or
Yes.
something, right? So when cars were hitting it was literally like,
It's like
the gas tank would be right into
it.
the engine of the next car, and it was
and it
not
just-
under the car, on the car.
Yes. And then the cars would explode. Like, yeah, that's a pretty bad design flaw. But they listened to that, and I think they fucking took it off the market after
Oh,
that.
that's too bad. What a cute little car.
Yeah, it was awesome. But
it's
still, that's
you know what? You need to take responsibility for the shit that's going on, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's what happens if you don't take responsibility for the negative feedback that's coming. And that's what happened. These companies were in denial.
Yeah.
They were like, no, you're bullshit. You're shit. No. Take responsibility, right? Read into this. Make sure that, it's either yes or it's no.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, it's going to spiral, and it's going to, get passed over and this and that. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
There's this funny saying I actually wrote out here. It's this is like a mouthful. Ready? So bear with me, okay?
Take a sip of whiskey first.
this is about taking responsibility. So I need a little bit of whiskey. Ready?
This is awesome. And I have to say, did you write this? Oh,
I'm not smart enough to write this one.
This is fucking brilliant.
But, okay, so the story goes. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have. Okay, that's a mouthful and a half. But the reality is, it's confusing as fuck. But again, it's nobody took responsibility. So nothing got accomplished.
Yes.
Right? And that's what it is. If people are calling and complaining about somebody, you got to take the responsibility to you just to own up to it, realize what the hell's going on, right? And fix it before it gets too late. Otherwise, it's just going to keep spiraling over and over and over.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's easy to overlook this shit when everything's going good, but man, as soon as one thing starts spiraling, the second starts spiraling, the third starts spiraling, right? You start getting big contracts, you start getting, focusing in on just one customer, and you kind of let the other one slip. This is how fast this shit happens, right?
Totally.
And I think the biggest, probably the last thing for all these companies, why they started failing, and this is absolutely 100% a telltale for agencies, for designers, for freelancers, is when people lose sight of why they're doing what they're doing. Right?
Yeah.
So we're designers, right? Why did we get into this? It's easy to get wrapped up, and all of a sudden you start getting a couple good customers, start making a lot more money.
Yeah.
You start, doing this. You start like being like, oh, I'm going to be on a talk show now, or I'm going to go speak at the local this and local that. And you start getting kind of absorbed in all the wow factor that you'll have for that 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not why you got into this.
Yeah.
And if you start losing, the curiosity that got you into this, the creative, the going to work every day to be creative, right? Yeah. The whole passion for solving. As soon as you start losing sight of that and start getting absorbed into the business side of everything, dude, you're on your way down.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with these companies. They lost sight. They wanted to be, these tech leaders that came up with a good product. Again, Blackberry owned the business space. Okay. And if they would have stayed in the business space, they would have survived. Okay, could they have ever, by Apple going to the consumer market, would they have been bigger? Yeah, of course they would have been bigger. But it doesn't mean that BlackBerry wouldn't have been a fucking massive billion-dollar company as well.
Yeah.
They just needed to serve a different market. And they were well with their market.
Yeah.
They started in the business space. They had something really good for business.
Yeah.
They got cocky. They got arrogant. They decided to go to B2C. And what happened? All of a sudden, they're like, oh, we did it over here. We can do. They started neglecting their B2B. Right? They started pouring all their efforts and money and attention into B2C. Right? It started feeling that, and they just tried harder and harder and harder. They forgot why they got into the space. Right? Had they stuck, dude, they had government contracts. They had a good product.
Yeah.
But they messed up.
Yeah. What ever ended up with BlackBerry?
So they're software.
It's just a software thing
I think
now,
it's software and IoT now.
Yeah.
But again, even that is kind of like
dicey. Yeah.
They're like a small percentage of what they were. They were literally on top of the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's
Crazy.
left, right?
Yeah.
They went from like 13, 14 buildings. Now they're one. One and a half. It's too bad. It's just it's a good story.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
Yeah. It's a great tale of what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
true.
But it's sad. But I mean, like, what a meteoric rise. Like, that was absolutely
It was massive,
huge. And
dude.
it literally was this town. You know what I mean? Like,
But don't think
shit.
about that. Now think about the same meteoric rise that Tesla has been going through.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But Tesla has also gone through all this shit. They've neglected their quality.
Yeah.
They started screwing around on their tech. Well, their tech's still pretty killer, of course.
Pretty good.
But they became unorganized. They're not keeping an eye on budgets anymore, right?
Yeah.
They're spending. They're ignoring the negative feedback. They're doing everything that, BlackBerry did.
Yeah.
Everything that we're seeing, designers, if they follow, they will also tank no matter what.
Yeah.
So we're going to live through it again. And I bet you there's going to be a ton more companies doing this. So, honestly, just remember, okay, even though you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm never going to be Tesla. You don't have to be Tesla. You don't have to be BlackBerry.
This is just,
you could be a freelancer.
Yeah.
And once there's going to come a point where if you keep grinding at this day and day, night and night, you're going to get busier. You're going to get bigger. You're going to finally get better clients, more lucrative, customers, and things are going to start feeling like they're getting a little overwhelming, and it's pretty natural to start neglecting your customer service because you're getting busy. You're not keeping your vendors happy. Those relationships are sucking. You start delivering inconsistent, and I mean it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to start happening. So all we're saying is follow these steps.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be BlackBerry.
Yeah, right.
Or Tesla.
Simple enough. 8 simple things, okay? Just to make sure that you're not, they're not career enders. You're going to stay in this, okay? Number 1, don't neglect your customer service. Number 2, keep your partner and vendor relationships happy, right? Number 3, deliver consistent quality and on time. Number 4, keep up with technology and marketing. Number 5, stay organized and make sure you're constantly managing your projects like a rock star, right? Like a boss.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on budgets. That's number 6. Number 7, accept and act on negative feedback. Take responsibility. And last but not least, don't ever lose sight of what you're doing.
Right.
Okay. This isn't about, staying current with design trends. This has nothing to do with that. This is just honest, advice. Nothing to do with design today. This is just running a design business.
Yeah.
Whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a studio, right? Follow this. And honestly, you don't have to worry about any sort of career enders, in my opinion,
Totally.
right?
Yeah. These are all
This is actually good because, going through this list, Sean,
Yeah.
like I think that even we have places for improvement here. I genuinely feel.
But this is the whole space that we're in. Like,
Yes.
like we're not perfect. I'm not
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, fair enough,
You know
fair
what I mean?
enough.
Like, there's things that I can certainly work on that,
Well, you're pretty close to perfect, Sean. You're pretty damn close. So,
I wish.
but you are right. You are right.
But
like
still,
it's,
there's always room for improvement. Exactly.
well, and because although things are great right now, knock on wood, right? They might not be in a year.
This
We've got
is
a
exactly
looming
it.
recession coming
This
up,
is
right?
exactly it.
Things
Yep.
can change
Yeah.
overnight. We could
Totally.
go from where we are now to half our staff. It's happened
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in the past. It could happen again in the future.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah.
And we're going to do everything possible to make sure it doesn't. But looking at this list now, I still think there's certain places where we can, polish up, we can brush up, we can kind of like, tie up a tighter shoelace here and kind of get back into the
Yeah,
swing of things.
exactly.
This is actually really good to just kind of revisit over and over,
totally,
right?
exactly. And what somebody told me a long time ago was like, always pay attention to the hum of the core. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
nice.
that was
Yeah,
like, I
that's
always
nice.
sat with me. It was like, yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, yes, expand into other horizons and things like that. But whatever was the thing that
Got you in.
got you there, or
Yeah.
or what was your strong suit,
Yep.
make sure you never neglect that. Like
Yeah.
that's so true, right? Like
It
you
is.
just, yeah, you can't.
It's so true, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it really is. Like remember
These are-
why you're getting into this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are like these core things that will help you, continue in this
I
space.
like that. Stay
Yeah.
true to your core.
Stay true to your core. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
good,
good.
buddy. That's good. All right. Well, this is kind of a little change, but I think this
very
actually
different.
makes sense,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of felt like more of like a business talk than an actual designer talk, but I think this is important.
This is a TED talk.
This is
A shed talk.
a shed talk. I like that better. Shed talk with Sean.
Yes,
and
Sean,
schmoss.
Schmoss. Shed
Talk, Sean Schmoss. All right, everybody. Well, listen, I hope that you don't mind that we shared something different tonight, but
Yeah.
please, by all means, let us know how you feel. Give us a review. Hit us up on our Instagram and let us know like what you actually think of this episode. Did it resonate? Did it not? Do you have any other suggestions that you can actually lend to this conversation about like actually, what other important ways, to keep yourself in the game and, not kind of be as a game changer or an ender.
Game ender.
Game
Ooh, I
ender,
like that.
right? Okay,
Game
that's
ender.
not-
Yeah,
Is
that's
that even
good.
a thing?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, game ender.
Game over.
Game over.
Whatever.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
But by all means, hit us up on our Instagram, The Angry Designer, or leave us a review and hit us up on, your favorite podcast channel. Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Google. We're also on YouTube. And I keep forgetting to tell people that
right.
you can actually watch these funny looking mugs on YouTube and see how sloppy we get when we start drinking. That's an important
Yeah,
thing.
and you can actually see the bottles that would help you.
See that?
If
See
you,
that?
yeah.
Oh, in case you want to go buy that.
in case you want to go buy
This one's a pretty good
a
one.
little bit of French Revolution here.
French Revolution. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for listening to us. My name is Massimo.
Yeah, my name is Sean.
Stay creative.
And stay hungry.